All right, I'm back on this stormy Thursday afternoon here to talk about, surprisingly enough, Avengers. We knew that Hawkeye came out today. That was, that's been in the cards for a while now. And, well, I will get to him and his Maestro campaign and the Wastelands and all that stuff later this afternoon, and probably do a different video about that tomorrow. Square Enix had their big showcase today, and in that, Crystal Dynamics had a section where they talked about a lot more than just Hawkeye. And not only that, before all this happened, there was this big kind of pre-briefing for, there were some journalists, and I know there was a group of content creators that were able to talk to the studio guys too. I had like a one-on-one or individual conversation for, I don't know, 40 minutes with Scott Amos, head of studio, and Morgan, I think his name is Morgan Gray, executive producer, where they kind of did a big breakdown of what they showed today, kind of how we got to this point, what they want to change, what's going on for the future, and it's it's a lot to process. But fundamentally, I think if you are still an Avengers fan and are hoping that this game kind of turns things around, that this is going to be nothing but good news, with some exceptions I'll get into later that might be a little odd, but for the most part. The thing that they realize the most is that they need to be more open about communication, and they need to kind of spell out like why people should invest in the game and give them things to look forward to in the future. So that led to the pretty unexpected development of a 6-month roadmap where they lay out what's going on from today, which is the Hawkeye edition, and then all the way to a Black Panther expansion. Full expansion. This is kind of what I've been saying that they need, is some kind of larger thing to be like their Taken King, like the hook to get people back in, and I think that might be it. Today could be a turning point in and of itself. Like, I'm sure Hawkeye will be fun, but there's also the launch on next-gen consoles, which is kind of a big thing because the game should play a lot more smoothly and look great and feel great in 60 FPS and all that stuff. That updates by the time you're seeing this should be live. And that's what I'm going to be playing Hawkeye on. So that's pretty exciting in and of itself. There's kind of a lot to go through because it was a very long conversation and very positive, I'd say. Like, I'm very on board with at least what they're telling me they want to do. They realized pretty quick that they did have this initial timetable of like getting a lot of heroes out pretty quickly. Well, I didn't hear the exact timetable. Like, I'm pretty sure that at least Kate Bishop and Hawkeye were supposed to come out before the end of last year, maybe even Black Panther. But what happened is the game launched with so many kind of technical issues and quality of life things they needed to fix that they pretty much stopped work on new content for a long time and just worked on fixing the game. And then that was complicated by COVID, and then that was complicated by the Texas storms where everyone lost power. So it's a whole, or no, not Texas storms. They're in California. California wildfires. That's what was the problem. So natural disasters delaying video game development all over the place. But ultimately, they realized that, yes, we do need something akin to a roadmap, even if we can't give exact specific dates on everything. Like, here's what's coming. And it is more than what we've seen so far. Among the different things they mentioned, in addition to the stuff that's launching today, is they were going to have a Black Widow event that will coincide with the movie's release in May, assuming that doesn't get delayed, but we might actually see it not delayed at this point with the pandemic is sort of receding at this point. So hopefully that date holds. That is going to be something called the Red Room, a modified harm room where it's red and you kill a bunch of enemies in there. And I think the most key part of that is they said that, I think along with this, I'm a little unclear on the timing, but this is when they're going to have Marvel Cinematic Universe skins. Everyone has been asking for that for a million years, and it's been a little unclear as to why they didn't do that. But now, they're actually going to be cross-promoting with the MCU, so that's going to kick off then. There will be a new villain sector starring Monica Rapinici. I don't remember her last name, something like that. Whoever the main campaign villain was at the end of the campaign. It's going to be an entirely new boss fight with new mechanics. She's not going to be a reskin of someone else, and that will be its own villain sector. This will not be kind of joined up with another hero. It's just going to be a new villain sector kind of being added to the game. They are talking about just kind of again, these all don't have like specific dates, but some time in this time window where they're still working on gear to make that better. They are trying to create more distinctions between different levels of gear and like making sure that there aren't useless perks and like upgrading the perks they do have, being more meaningful about like how to get rewards and how to tell people how to get rewards. One thing they said that they find understandably frustrating is like they're just trying to get people to play all of the content where like people will get to the end of the campaign and then just like run the same war zone over and over again, and they won't realize like, okay, no, you got to get to the end of the full Monica quest and it unlocks all this stuff, and like I guess only a small portion of people have actually done that. So they're trying to kind of encourage people to open up the content they already do have, and that will be kind of coming with in conjunction with all these other systems. So we'll have some gear upgrades. They talked briefly about something akin to like a Diablo Paragon system where XP you get after max will contribute to your character in some way. They're not super specific about that, but like something about like making your skills better or stats or something along those lines. Like there will be a purpose to getting XP over 50. So it's not just the gear grind if you're putting a lot of time into one of your specific characters. They showed off kind of new mechanical things. Like there's going to be an artifact that instead of just giving you a damage boost or whatever, it summons Hank Pym with an energy cannon to shoot enemies, things like that. So they're doing that. They revealed actually already that they're having an enemy like a loot goblin that you have to hunt down and chase before it goes away. I don't know what. I guess it'll be a robot or something, and then you'll want to blow that up. Further down the line, they talked about something in the Wasteland called Patrol, where it's kind of what it sounds like. In Destiny, you go to a zone, you patrol, you do things. It's unstructured. There's no mission objectives. It's just kind of a way to farm a larger map, and there will be kind of instance events, instant events all around the map that you can go and farm on repeat if you want to get gear that way. Kind of also look like maybe Anthem's free roam mode a little bit, where you could farm that in certain ways. And it's not like Destiny in that there's going to be like 18 players in a zone or things like that, but it's mostly for like you and your team to kind of go around solo farming. They did talk about an event that they're doing. It's a limited time thing where you can have copies of more than one hero. So you can have like 4 Hulks going at something. And then all of this kind of led up to the Black Panther reveal, which is just that. It's just a reveal. Obviously, if you've been following Avengers news closely, you have heard data mining for many months now that have suggested that Black Panther and Wakanda are coming to the game. Now it's official. They pretty much just showed Wakanda and just showed Black Panther. They did not reveal anything else. I pressed them on some of the data mines rumors about Claw being the villain and about Christopher Judge, Kratos doing the voice of T'Challa. They would not answer me, but I think I'm right about both of those. And they talked about how the storyline we're doing now will, in fact, feed into this later. And Black Panther is an entirely new character. He's not just going to be like Cap's brawling moves reskinned. And yeah, so that's their 6-month plan. I'm sure I'm leaving out some little gaps here and there because I'm not literally looking at the roadmap in front of me because I don't have it at the time I'm filming this, but I'm sure it will be released by the time I have this here. I'll put it up on screen once it's actually out. And so like all of this is very positive. I think it's way more information than we've had in many months, and I'm hoping that this is a trend that kind of continues. I think they understand that they need to communicate more, and that seems like something that they're going to continue to try to do in the future. And I hope to have more calls with them like the one I had. I think there are a few things to address on the potential side. One thing it's in the roadmap, it does not have any sort of date range at all, is the Omega level threats, which is the super adaptoid boss of the Kate Bishop mission, and also the famed AIM cloning labs, which still exist. And I pressed them. I'm like, what is taking so long with these? And all they could say is really that we just want to get them right. We want to launch them when they're absolutely perfect. And we just can't afford to do it any sooner and have something go wrong. So I'm not exactly sure what the specific issues are there, but I mean, AIM Cloning Labs has been teased since like the first month the game came out, so it is pretty strange it's still not here, and I think the game will still continue to kind of suffer from the core problem of like no ultra high end end game content to do, like that requires you to be 140, 150. I think the upward limit of mission requirements right now is like 135. So there's no real reason to have your characters like all maxed and that high at this point. So I'm curious as to uh, when those will get here and how they will kind of structure them so you want to run them for maxed out characters and what benefit that will give you. Also curious how matchmaking is going to go, since this game has had very poor matchmaking since the start, and in a very, very difficult high level activity, I don't think it can just autofill with AIs, so I'm a little worried about that. I think some players will have some issues with a couple of things they announced, like between Hawkeye and Black Panther. The stuff in the interim, it's stuff, but it's also like modified versions of existing stuff. Like the Red Room is a harm room, reskinned. Uh, the new villain sector should be interesting, but I'm assuming that's going to reuse old zones, and Monica's not exactly the most classic of Marvel villains. And then they, in the AIM Cloning Lab part where we were talking about it, they still said that the rumor I heard a while back was true, that I don't know if it's the final boss, but a boss is 4 Abomination clones in one place, which I don't think most players think sounds like fun. So I'm a little concerned about that, if that's their kind of idea of like it's a little like a meme where it's like we've been running these Taskmaster and Abominations for so long, and then we finally get the end game thing that's like the ultimate raid, and the final boss is 4 Abominations. Like, okay. One thing they also didn't confirm yet is when or if a new enemy race is coming to the game. Everyone assumes it's the Kree because that's kind of what they're building toward. I don't know if that is something that would get here in Black Panther, or if that's something that would have to be for the following year. One of the biggest player complaints is that we keep fighting the same AIM enemies over and over again. And so even if there's a Black Panther Wakanda expansion, if it's all just AIM enemies, the same ones we've had, I don't think that's going to feel great for fighting one race of enemies for an entire year. So we'll see what happens there. They would not talk about any future heroes past Black Panther. I asked them about Spider-Man, and they said Spider-Man is still being worked on, but I do not believe he's coming out within the year, and certainly not before Black Panther. They said that the deal is still in place with Sony, like it's still a thing, but originally he was promised I think early this year, and that has clearly not happened. So I don't know when we'll see him. They did not confirm any other heroes that have been potentially data mined. Captain Marvel, She-Hulk, Bucky Barnes, War Machine. I don't know. There's a lot. That's supposed to be kind of the upcoming roster. I did get them to say that, yes, they are working on content past year 1 of the game's release. That is literally all they could say. But the overall sense of things was that they are committed to Avengers. They are committed to the vision they originally said about these kind of long, ongoing storylines, adding new characters, adding new content, and they understand they got off to a really rocky start, but they're trying to change that. They're trying to do more things more quickly and address a lot of the issues that fans have had with the game so far. So, and that kind of begins today, and we'll see how this goes. My concern with Hawkeye has always been like it's going to be like another 2 days of content and then nothing indefinitely. So, but it's not really indefinitely anymore, because we at least have kind of events coming up that are on the roadmap and things we can come back to, even if they're not full character releases. Whether they're rewarding and worth farming or not is maybe another thing we have to keep an eye on. But all of this is culminating in something that I think everybody will be pretty interested in, which is the Black Panther thing. Although that is 5, 6, 7 whatever months away, and so that's going to be a bit of a long wait to get there. And I would love nothing more than to see years and years of Avengers content and 20 heroes on my roster and things like that, because I think the game is fundamentally enjoyable to play, and I really like it. It has struggled with the live service aspect of being a live service game, and it seems to be trying to change that in the next 6 months here, and I guess we'll have to see how it goes. I will be putting my hands on Hawkeye pretty soon here, and then I will probably do a video about just him and the campaign tomorrow, depending on how far I get. I assume I'll be able to beat his campaign missions at least today, and then we'll check out different aspects of the roadmap as it arrives. And yeah, so I think this was maybe more than people were expecting to see today. Originally, it just seemed like he was just going to be like, hey, Hawkeye's live, go play it. And then some people were hoping for a roadmap. And some people were hoping for a roadmap and a Black Panther reveal. And we got all of those. But some people might be hoping for Spider-Man and Captain Marvel too. And, you know, we didn't get all the way there. But this is progress. This is better. I believe them when they say they really want to make this work. And they seem to be doing more active work and more active releases than, say, Anthem going dormant for like a year and a half. So I don't think it's time to ring the alarm bells or anything. I think it's probably time to, if you're remotely interested in Avengers, give it another shot with these new releases and see how it goes. And Black Panther may be the make or break thing. And if that's like a thing that does not attract enough people, it's over. If it attracts a ton of people, cool, another year of content. So we'll see what happens. But I'm excited. I got a lot of superhero stuff to do this weekend. I got to watch Justice League. I'll probably do that tomorrow. Falcon and the Winter Soldier's tomorrow too. So big superhero weekend here. But I'm excited. Well, let me know in the comments if you're excited too, or if not, that's fine too. But Evie, is your nose in the frame? Just your nose. Okay. Evie's napping, but all right. I will see you guys tomorrow for probably the Hawkeye video. So take care.